Deion Sanders broke character to send five-word message for Patriots legend and settle dispute. Picture this. October 11th, 1989. Deion Sanders, fresh off smacking a homer for the Yankees, struts onto an NFL field and houses a punt return for the Falcons. 2 sports, 1 week, pure legend. That's the kind of magic primetime conjured, a vibe so electric it still hums through the league today. Fast forward to a sunny morning in 2025, and the football world's buzzing again. Why? Falcons veteran Jake Matthews immediately impressed with Michael Penix Jr. Deion Sanders ain't just a name, he's a symphony. With 53 picks, 1,331 INT return yards, and 9 TDs in 188 games, he painted the field like Picasso with a pigskin. 8 Pro Bowls, 9 All-Pro nods, 2 Super Bowl rings. He's the dude who made QBs sweat in their cleats. But rankings? Nah, that's never been his jam. Because Deion, the guy who'd rather dodge rankings talk than dodge tackles, dropped a gem that had jaws hitting the turf. 5 words, aimed straight at a Patriots icon, settling a beef that's been simmering like a pot of gumbo on a Sunday stove. This ain't just a story, it's a poetic dance of respect, rivalry, and NFL soul. Primetime Sanders breaks character. Go back to where I think it went left, he said, rewinding the tape to his NFL Network days. I was working for NFL Network, and they asked me who were the top corners in the game. And see, I hate to do that. I hate to do that. He paused, letting the weight sink in. I think this was the first and the last time I ever gave a ranking. I'm telling you, you don't know that. That was the first and the last time. So when he broke that code to crown Asante Samuel, you knew it was deeper than stats. It was real talk from a king to a knight. Asante, that Patriots legend, carved his own legend in Foxborough. 2 Super Bowl chips, 51 INTs in 157 games, 4 Pro Bowls, and an NFL record 4 postseason pick sixes. He was the thief in the night, snatching balls like they owed him money. But this moment, it's Deion stepping out of his no-rankings fortress, peering across the decades, and saying, "Did I say it? Asante Samuel is the best off corner in the game, and you didn't want that." Best off corner in the game. 5 words that were hard to decipher, whether meant as a tribute or a sarcastic jibe. Given their history, he smirked, adding, "You didn't want that. So what was wrong with that?" "Because I was just being 100. It's like in The Last Dance, when MJ finally nodded to a rival's game. Rare, raw, and dripping with respect. Sanders wasn't just tossing a compliment. He was handing Samuel a torch, lit from his own flame. But this ain't just about props. It's about peace. Their beef had roots, and Deion knew it. Great talk, brothers may fight and see things different, but we have those conversations about it. I respect this, he posted, reposting a reel of their spat. It was a nod to the grind, the kind of brotherhood forged in the trenches of the NFL, where legends clash but still salute. Like I say, you the one who pioneered that term, lockdown corner. But you have 50 interceptions, Sanders mused. Nobody is doing that no more. That's prime time. Tipping his cap to a dude who turned Gillette Stadium into his personal art gallery, brushing masterpieces with every pick. The technique that sparked a rivalry. Rewind the tape. This whole saga kicked off over the T-step, that slick footwork where a corner plants a T to flip the script on a receiver. Samuel swore by it, his 51 INTs and 6 TDs screaming proof. Sanders? He wasn't buying it. "Sir. Foolish. LLLL God bless you my brother," he tweeted, jabbing at Samuel's defense of the move. "Tell them what this really about, sir. You forever taking a shot at the sky. Mickey Andrews is responsible for teaching us what I teach, and it sure seemed like it worked for us. Peace be still." It was classic Deion, witty, sharp, and a lil holy, like he's preaching from the 50-yard line. Samuel clapped back. "I'm simply comparing best seasons, dropping a stat sheet showdown. 53 picks for Sanders, 51 for him, but in 31 fewer games." The Patriots faithful nodded, remembering those snowy nights when Samuel turned Brady's practices into pick-six clinics. Sanders doubled down, breaking it down like a coach on a chalkboard. The quarterback was in control of the football. True, most quarterbacks are right-handed. True, he said, laying out his gospel. And most passes go to the right side, now the defensive left side. My mindset was, I'm going to take away the quarterback's favorite side to throw to, and that's going to create the advantage for the defense. He paused, letting it marinate. So I'm playing the quarterback. I don't. I don't wish to play the receiver because the quarterback has to get the ball to the receiver. So that was my mindset, but nobody understood what I was doing, so it kind of got washed out. It's the Falcons to Cowboys vibe. Sanders didn't just cover. He dictated, a maestro conducting chaos. Who's really the best, though? Samuel wasn't fazed. Y'all want me to believe. He was the greatest cornerback that ever lived and nobody can ever be better than him? Man, get the expletive out of here, he fired, his Lauderdale grit shining through. This ain't about respect. This ain't about big names. It's that Patriots culture, Bill Belichick's do your job ethos mixed with a streetwise swagger, the kind that turned a fourth-round pick into a two-time champ. Shannon Sharp jumped in. Asante, I love you, bro. I think you're phenomenal. But you're not in time's realm. While Akasinko played ref, saying styles make fights. But Deion, he wanted more. Like, what I would have wished that you did, I wish you would have traveled, he said. I wish you would have took the dog and took him out the net because I know he was capable, but y'all didn't do that. A nod to Revis Island, maybe, but with a twist. Sanders saw Samuel's juice and wanted him unleashed at in the end. This was poetry in motion. Two artists, one canvas, different brushes. Sanders, the Falcons Flash who turned San Fran and Dallas into title towns, and Samuel, the Pat's silent assassin who made Brady's dynasty even deadlier. So you compare me against any quarterback, against Peyton Manning, against Eli Manning, or, you get what I mean? You got yours, Sanders said, sealing it with a grin. Their dispute? Settled not with a winner, but with a vibe, a mutual nod across generations, proving the NFL's beauty lies in its debates, its differences, and its undeniable legends. Kevin Stefanski to trade Joe Flacco after Browns QB refuses Shadur Sanders' mentorship in QB battle. Report: 16 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Joe Flacco had a remarkable year in 2023 with the Browns. But a heartbreaking end to their playoff campaign still pains Flacco, one of the reasons that pushed the veteran to return to Cleveland. Listen, part of the excitement about coming back is the opportunity to kind of, hopefully, put a stamp on what happened a couple years ago and finish what we started, the 40-year-old QB said in April this year. So, Flacco's mission in Cleveland has always been to complete the story he began in 2023. Best and worst case scenarios for the Cleveland Browns. However, a QB room that is filled with 3 other elite signal callers, including Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. HC Kevin Stefanski is yet to take a final call on his starter. And with 2 rookies also present in the squad, Flacco is seen more as a mentor rather than his desired role, starter. But the 40-year-old has made his priorities clear. He's here to compete, not to mentor. His stance, especially with a high-profile rookie like Shadur in the room, has sparked speculation that Cleveland could move Flacco rather than force a fit that doesn't align with his mindset or the team's long-term vision. Discussing the possibility of the rumored trading off of Joe Flacco were Mike Florio and Michael Holley on Pro Football Talk on NBC. Holley, while referring to the trading rumors, suggested a trade between the Browns and the Titans, if it ever does happen. He suggested trading Joe Flacco to the Titans as Cam Ward's mentor in exchange for the Titans will leave us. Holley said, put Joe Flacco in Tennessee as a mentor to Cam Ward and throw Will Levis into the Cleveland Browns quarterback circus. So that would be a lot of fun to watch. While Mike talked about Flacco's response of not being interested in mentoring, he said, Flacco leads by example. And I think Cam Ward is the kind of guy who also leads by example and would learn by studying the example of Joe Flacco. That could be something. However, the rumors about Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski trading off Joe Flacco seem all too sudden, especially considering the recent reports, which rather placed Flacco at the forefront of the QB1 race at the Browns, which is also the reason why the Browns signed him, despite already having Kenny Pickett with the draft remaining at that time. In addition to this, reports from Browns reporter Daniel Oyefusi revealed that Joe Flacco operated the offense the best, pushed the ball downfield in the OTAs. This forces the question of whether Coach Stefanski will really take such a risk by trading off a player like Flacco. While Flacco might not be willing to mentor players, including Shadur, Players do have a lot to learn from him. After all, he is highly experienced and will always be ready to share tips and talk to the players. He just won't force players to do things a certain way. Joe Flacco is not so keen on being a mentor. Joe Flacco is one of the most experienced guys on the gridiron right now. Coming into his 18th season in the NFL, he would be expected to guide the younger players, especially right now, with the Browns having 2 rookies coming in from the draft. Players and management will also be hoping he takes on to mentor the 2 rookies. But Flacco has revealed his intentions very clearly when it came to mentoring players. In a press conference during the OTAs, Flacco responded to the idea of mentoring players like Deion Gabriel and Deion Sanders. It's a good question to bait somebody into answering. And no matter how they answer it, it kind of makes the guy that's answering it look bad, Flacco said, not giving in to the narrative often used by the press. If I say, I don't want to be a mentor, I look bad. If I say, I do want to be a mentor, then I look like an idiot that doesn't care about being good and playing football. Reason Flacco on why he doesn't want to be a mentor just yet that I tend to try to be honest. And I've said, I'm not a mentor. I play football. And in a quarterback room, there's a lot of times. There's been a ton of times where there's learning experiences and I have a lot of experience and I can talk on things and hopefully they listen, said Flacco, trying to explain his response and limited the damage which he knew the media do when they write about it. But it's not necessarily my job to make sure they listen to me. Hey, hopefully you have a really good relationship with the guys that are in the room, and you naturally want to do that, he added, indicating that if the players want to learn from him by watching and observing him, they're welcome. But it's not Flacco who is going to take the initiative to teach others. It has to be the players.